4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is recording.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. My name is Carolyn. Are you interested in history? Maybe you like things that are from the past, or perhaps you like things that are from the past, but only from 10, 20, or 30 years ago. Many people are interested in these types of things. One of those things is the accordion, and our lesson today is accordions make a comeback. Accordions used to be popular and are starting to become popular again. One reason for this is because several bands have started to use accordions during their performances, and we are going to learn more about that in our lesson.
Accordions make a comeback. In the 1990s, the world started to change. People were interested in retro things. They wanted to rediscover the past, and this was reflected in the music. In 1998, a band called Neutral Milk Hotel made an album that used an accordion and some other folk instruments. Many music critics say this is one of the best albums of its time. In the 2000s, it became even more popular for music groups to experiment with folk instruments.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 首先我们看的是 retro 这个形容词。re 这个字首有再一次的意思，所以 retro 是指怀旧的或复古的。例如 The retro decoration of the cafe attracts many customers. 这家咖啡厅怀旧的装潢吸引了许多的顾客。或者是 The retro elements in this designer's latest collection received many good reviews. 这位设计师最近的系列中复古的元素受到许多好评。Retro 也可以当名词，意思是指复古或怀旧的衣物或音乐。例如 The flares that are now considered retro were once fashionable in the 70s. 喇叭裤虽然现在是一种复古的款式，但是在70年代是很时尚的。继续我们看的是 experiment 这个动词。Experiment 是指尝试或试用。如果要说明尝试什么的话，是用 with 这个介系词。例如 The artist loves to experiment with different colors and textures while creating his work. 这位艺术家创作作品的时候喜欢尝试不同的颜色跟材质。Experiment 也可以指做实验。如果要说明用什么拿来做实验的话，是用 on 这个介系词。例如 The researchers experimented on rabbits to observe the effects of the treatment. 这些研究员用兔子做实验来观察这种治疗的效果。Experiment 也可以当名词，例如 clinical experiments 是指临床实验，或者是 animal experiments 是指动物实验。
Thank you so much, Michelle. Now let's look at our lesson and learn just how accordions are making a comeback. We read right here, in the 1990s, the world started to change. Now, I like this phrase. I've noticed that there's a phrase we hear a lot in movies or in the news right now, and that is, the world is changing, which just means that things are different, things are changing, but the world is always changing.
Yeah, you're right about that, Carolyn. The world is always changing, but I would say perhaps today it seems like the world is changing at a much faster pace than it has in the past.
I think that might be what they mean when they say the world is changing. Not that that's different from before, but that it's doing it at a faster rate. And I think technology is part of that. Now, we continue looking at our lesson to find out that in the 1990s, people started to become interested in retro things. Now, if something is retro, then it's from the past, and we see a great picture here of some very old things.
Yeah, that is called a gramophone, okay, that big thing that looks like the mouth of a trumpet, right? However, there are other retro things. Some people like to collect retro furniture. We also use the word vintage to describe some of those things. Today, because we were teaching about the word retro, I decided to wear my belt that's actually a Nintendo controller. You can't see it because of copyright issues, but it makes me feel like I'm living in the past with my retro video game controller.
That is very retro. The Nintendo came out a long time ago.
It did, but okay, our lesson is about the 1990s, and actually that was just after the time that the first Nintendo came out.
That is true. So
it's retro now.
It is retro now, but it wasn't retro in the 90s. So we're talking about things that would be considered retro in the 90s, 20 years ago. And these people wanted to rediscover the past, and this was reflected in the music. And that's a great word for us to know, to rediscover something. That means you learn it again or you find it a second time.
That's right. So sometimes I hear people talk about rediscovering their passion, right? So maybe you went into a job with passion and you were excited about it, but working there over the years, you sort of lost your interest. But it's important for you to try to rediscover that passion and that vision if you're going to continue working at that place.
Right, so you try to find something again, and they were trying to rediscover the past. We see that in 1998, a band called Neutral Milk Hotel made an album that used an accordion and some other folk instruments. Now, the name of this band is quite interesting, and the first word there is neutral. Now, if something is neutral, then it's not on a particular side of an issue, but this word has a couple of different meanings. It could also mean that the color is not a very bright color. Maybe it's white or gray or black.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a neutral color. But yeah, in Chinese you might say 中性的 or 中立的. So it's not either extreme. It's kind of right in the middle. And maybe you could talk about that in English, friends. Is there an issue that you feel really strongly about? Well, that's not taking a neutral position, that's taking an extreme position. But is there an issue that maybe you take a neutral position? You don't really care either way. You're kind of more neutral.
Now, the band's name, we're not really sure which neutral they are talking about because the lead artist of the band refuses to reveal the band's name,
Really?
origins.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
that's very interesting. Well, regardless, Neutral Milk Hotel is a very interesting band name. And we read on here in the next sentence, many music critics say this is one of the best albums of its time. Okay, so one of the best albums that Neutral Milk Hotel created was one of the best albums of perhaps that decade. But let's take a look at that word critic, Carolyn.
That is a great word for us to know, and it just means that that person is someone who looks at something very closely, analyzes it, and thinks about what is good about it, what is bad about it, and then shares their opinion with others.
Okay, so for example, Esperanza Spalding. I really like that musician. She's kind of a jazz artist, but she has a lot of other feels in her music as well. And jazz critics at the time were a little bit skeptical. Not all of them were praising her music. Okay, so you have some professionals, some experts in a certain field, and sometimes some of them are critics, and they they give their opinions or their advice about something.
Exactly. Now, I know some experts who can teach us something interesting today, so let's go to the Info Cloud.
Hi, friends. Welcome to InfoCloud. Rex, do you have fond memories of your childhood?
Yes, I do. Sometimes I feel a bit nostalgic for a time when things seemed a bit simpler and familiar.
You aren't the only one that feels that way. In fact, some people are so enthusiastic about the recent past that we have a term for it: retromania.
This term is a combination of two words, retro, describing something from an earlier time, and mania, indicating an intense enthusiasm or obsession over something.
So if someone experiences retromania or has retromania, then they are very enthusiastic about the past, but not the distant past. They are excited about things that have happened within their own lifetime or just before it.
The idea of retromania can be seen in fashion, music, and movies. Things that aren't very old yet already have remakes, remixes, or are back in fashion shows.
Author Simon Reynolds wrote about the irony of retromania. We live in a world of advanced technology, but we use that tech to recreate the past.
如果一个人对于已经过去的事物相当感兴趣，甚至到了痴迷的地步，你可以称呼那是一种 retromania， 复古狂热。这个字的字首 retro 就是复古， mania 就是狂热或痴迷。我们在电影界、时尚界或是音乐圈常常可以看到 retromania 的现象。譬如说 Star Wars 星际大战经常有人拍前传或续集之类的作品，这些都是因为观众们对于这些经典作品念念不忘，相当着迷，很可能就是一种 retromania。或是有些人很热爱穿复古的衣服等等。值得注意的是 retromania 是针对近代或是不久的过去。如果是对100-200年前的事物感到着迷，那就只能说这个人喜欢研究历史了。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back, friends. Today we are looking at our lesson, Accordions Make a Comeback. Today we've already talked about how people are interested in retro things, things from the past. Do you like things that are from the past? Do you like things that are retro? Well, the band Neutral Milk Hotel certainly does, and they have a very interesting sound, but they are not the only band that uses the accordion. So let's continue with our lesson and learn a little bit more about who is using this instrument.
Accordions make a comeback. Bands like Mumford & Sons and Arcade Fire have given the accordion a fresh new voice, and people are eating it up. Many young people are now learning to play the accordion again. There's a 5-week festival held in New York called Accordions Around the World. Many people go to Bryant Park in New York City to hear accordion music. The accordion has made a big comeback. So, why not jump on the bandwagon and learn to play the accordion?
OK， 接下来我们看的是 eat it up 这个成语。eat it up 是指很喜欢或者是完全的接受。例如 ，When electronic music first appeared, not a lot of people liked it, but now they're eating it up. 当电音刚出现的时候，不是很多人喜欢，但是现在大家完全可以接受。或者是 The movie star attempted his first villain role in his latest film, and the audience totally ate it up. 这位电影明星在最新的作品中第一次尝试反派，而观众完全买账。Eat it up 也指 吃完某一种食物，例如 Carrots are good for you, eat them up。红萝卜对你的健康有益，把它们吃光光吧。最后我们看的是 jump on the bandwagon 这个成语。bandwagon 原本是指游行时载着乐队的花车，但在这里是指潮流或趋势，所以 jump on the bandwagon 就是指顺应潮流或者是跟上趋势。例如 the increasing needs for AI appliances have led many industries jump on the bandwagon。人们对人工智慧家电逐渐扩大的需求，让许多企业都得跟上这股趋势。或者是 Nathan jumped on the bandwagon and became a vegan。 Nathan 跟上潮流，成为一位纯素食主义者。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Now, looking at our lesson, we're going to learn about a few other bands that also have used accordions. We read, bands like Mumford & Sons and Arcade Fire have given the accordion a fresh new voice. And there are some really great words and phrases right here in this first sentence. The first word I want to look at is arcade. Now, an arcade is a building or a place that's filled with electronic games, and people put their money into the game and then they can play and maybe win tickets or prizes or just have fun.
And it is a lot of fun to go to the arcade. Now, nowadays, people have video games that they play inside their homes, and you can take with you, right? However, it is fun sometimes to go with your friends to a place like the arcade to play games together there. But, okay, so this is a word that appears in the name of a band, okay, Arcade Fire, and they have given the accordion a fresh new voice. And that's kind of a fun phrase too, right? What does it mean if you are given a fresh or new voice?
Well, that's a great phrase, to give something a new voice. And that just means that you allow something to express itself. It's able to have a new opportunity or another chance to do something.
And it's interesting because when one band does something with an instrument, maybe it has a completely different feel than when another band does something with that instrument. So maybe people thought that accordions were something of the past, but then they heard bands like Mumford & Sons or Arcade Fire, and they thought, wow, it's kind of cool when they do it. It's kind of like the instrument, the organ. Okay, so a lot of people think the organ is a church instrument. Okay, it's an instrument that people play at church and people sing along at church. But actually, when you hear the organ in movies like Sweeney Todd, 疯狂理发师, or Interstellar, it gives it a very fresh and a very new voice, a very different feel, and a very different purpose. So it's kind of cool.
It is, and when something gets a new voice, sometimes people are really excited about it, and that's what's happening here. And people are eating it up, so they are really enjoying the new, fresh sound of the accordion. And many young people are now learning to play the accordion again. There's even a festival.
That's great. It's awesome. Okay, there's even a festival held in New York called Accordions Around the World. Many people go to Bryant Park in New York City to hear accordion music. Well, I would be interested in going to Bryant Park around this time of year where this festival is going on.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm sure that you can meet a lot of people who either love the sound of the accordion or play the accordion. Maybe you could sign up for lessons.
Well, at least you would meet a lot of music lovers, right? And interesting people. It's always fun to connect with new and different people. But we read on here, the accordion has made a big comeback. Remember that phrase. So why not jump on the bandwagon and learn to play the accordion?
I really like this sentence. And we see a very good kind of question here. Why not? And you don't necessarily expect an answer when someone asks, why not? This could actually be used as a response. And it simply means that you're making a suggestion or you're expressing agreement with something.
Right. So for example, people on YouTube these days have a lot of influence. So why not try to make your own videos and put them on YouTube?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? So you can agree with something by saying why not, or you can express just an idea that you want to share with this type of question.
Well, Carolyn, I think that review skits are a great way to end our program, so why not go enjoy your review skit?
That's a great idea. Why not?
Why not?
Grandma, are you okay? I heard a strange noise.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I'm practicing my music.
That's a curious instrument. What is it?
This is my accordion.
An accordion?
Yes, sometimes it's called a squeeze box because you squeeze it to make music.
Oh, the sound is very unique.
Yes. You know, the old Sears catalog described it as an orchestra in a box.
An orchestra?
Yes, you can play the melody. Oh, you can play the bass. Or you can keep time. Keep the beat.
That's pretty cool. When did you get this? Is it new?
Oh, no. I got it when I was a child. A lot of my friends had accordions back then. We took lessons at a local music studio.
So, accordions were popular back then.
Oh, very popular. Professionals would play every week on TV. Oh, I loved watching those variety shows.
So, why did people stop playing accordions? What happened?
The electric guitar, that's what happened.
Oh, and rock and roll took center stage.
That's exactly right. And accordions were pushed out of the spotlight and into the hall closet.
I'm sorry, Grandma.
But now, accordions are making a comeback.
Well, people are pretty interested in retro things now.
That's right. And the accordion has a fresh new voice. People are eating it up.
That's great, Grandma.
Yeah. So the accordion is back, and so I am going to practice and practice and practice.
We've learned a lot of great terms today in our lesson on accordions making a comeback. And one that I really like is that accordions have a fresh new voice. They've been given a new voice. Can you think of anything that has also been given a new voice? Are you thinking about learning to play the accordion? Well, why not? You can always try it out. Let us know how it goes, and we'll see you next time on Studio Classroom.
Shining through the darkest night, standing there right by your side, truly a friend for life. A friend loves at all times, a friend helps at all times, a friend trusts at all times, a good friend lasts a lifetime. A friend gives at all times, a friend cares at all times, a friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.